All right, folks, again, good evening. Welcome to the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you very much for the state of the city. Thank you for being here. Let's show a round of applause, please, this evening. My name is Richard Marks. I am the chairman of the board for the Encinitas Chamber. I have the honor and the privilege to be your MC for this evening. Thank you very much, Andrew. It's okay to clap. Thank you very much. My company is RDM Management Group, which are my initials, Richard David Marks. We are a professional training company, training on a variety of leadership skills, enhanced emotional intelligence, how to navigate through difficult conversations. I'm also a TEDx speaker. I did a TEDx speech back in August of last year. And the topic of the conversation is how to have collaborative conversations in a political divisive world. Yes, this is why I wanted the topic. I love the difficult things, folks. I believe that we should be able to talk about anything if we're rooted in the skill sets of emotional intelligence, and that's a different conversation, but this is about the collective. And with that being said, folks, this is the first day of spring. Woo! Wow, it's amazing. As we continue with our venue of items here folks. First, I would like to thank our sponsors. So the way this is going to work, I am going to call the sponsor name, and once I do that, I want you to clap after that name just one time. Can we do that? Let's test it. Are you sure? So I'm going to call the name of our CEO, Sherry Yardley, and see how that works. So Sherry Yardley. Not exactly. We appreciate you, Sherry. So let's start with our very first one, please. Scripps Health, Cardiff 101, City of Encinitas. I like that. Community Resource Center, Cox Communication, EDCO. You know, it's interesting talking and clapping at the same time, so please forgive me if I don't clap after everyone. Encinitas Action, Encinitas 101, Enterprise Bank and Trust, Fox Point Farms, the Grower School. Oh man, it's getting hot up in here. Hold on. Woo. Lucadia 101, Magdalena Ecke Family YMCA, Maricosta College, SDG&E, 101 Artist Colony, and the folks that provided the music was the North Coast Symphony. The group was called Ultra New. Let's now give them a complete round of applause, please. Now I would like to acknowledge the local eateries who provided the food that you folks are enjoying. Now, this applause is slightly different. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until I can complete the list, Sherry. One of my favorites, folks, Broad Street Doco. Wow, Okay, they deserve an applause. I appreciate it. Casa de Bandini. Chips Happen. Okay. The Crack Shack. Can't help it. This is amazing. That's how much everyone enjoyed the food. This is a good thing. Haven Farm and Table, Jenny's Ice Cream, Jimbo's Naturally, La Papagayo, Mendocino Farms, the Flavored Chef, the Roxy, and Urbane Cafe, and Burtek Family Vineyard and Fox Point Brewery for the adult beverages. The State of the City is always a special night, as you know, bringing community together, and tonight is no exception. We have a great night in store for you. Now I would like to introduce, we are matching this evening, we have already taken a great picture. I would like to introduce Pastor Laura Zill, who will lead us in a moment of gratitude. Laura?
Thank you so much, Richard. Yeah, we totally coordinated beforehand. Mr. Mayor and distinguished guests this evening, I happen to be the lead pastor at Bethlehem Lutheran Church, which is, you can almost see it from here. It's just a couple of blocks that way. We are an all-are-welcome church, so if you'd like to come on over at any time. I have been proud to call this community home for just close to 20 years. I've raised both my daughters here. They are now adults and out in the world, and they carry with them the groundedness of this beautiful community. We gather tonight in gratitude for any number of things. In gratitude for this beautiful city we call home. In thanksgiving for the diversity of those who live here and for the ways in which we form a community of compassion and care for one another. We are blessed to live near this beautiful ocean, reminding us both of the power and the beauty of the creation and of our responsibility to care for the land that gives us life. We remember and honor tonight the Kumeyaay and Degeno peoples who cared for this land long before we arrived here. We recognize and honor their past, present, and futures, as well as their abiding relationship with these precious lands. May we join them and learn from them as together we care for this community that we share. And as a faith leader, I am also deeply grateful for the wide expressions of faith in this diverse community and for the common purpose that we share. I know my neighbors of faith personally and well over these years as we work closely together to care for our neighbors, to seek justice, and to join in our common purpose to expand love at all times to all people. I've lived in a number of places, but I've never lived in a community where I have felt the kind of partnership and welcome for the work that I do that I have here in Encinitas, not only with the faith leaders with whom I share this space, but also with everybody that I've met and many of you who are here this evening. It is a unique and blessed place, Encinitas. We live in challenging times, and in times such as these, community is a rare and precious gift. And we live that here. I see it. I see it in the work of the Community Resource Center and in the many organizations in this community that care for the most vulnerable. I see it in the intentional welcome we have for those who come here from other nations to join in this community that we share. I see it in the many times I have interacted with members of the city council or any city employee, and they have extended to me nothing but kindness and partnership. And I am most grateful tonight for all of you who are gathered here. You who give of your heart and your time and your deep commitment to make better this life that we share. Thank you for all that you do to lift this community. I'd invite you to join me in just a brief prayer as we gather. God of all, we are so grateful for this embodied community we share. We are each of us different, yet our hearts the same. Together, we commit ourselves to love at all costs, to care for our neighbors, to live in community, to offer grace and hope to one another as a city and then to the world. We each have a different part in that song, but together we sing of hope. Bless us all this night. Amen.
Thank you, Laura. And folks, I'm encouraging you to embrace those words that she shared with us, having a moment of gratitude. In this chaotic world, as she so mentioned, taking a moment and just appreciating where you are, the people that's in your life, the things that we have the opportunity to do is really important. Sometimes we can get away from that at times. So thank you for keeping us grounded, Pastor Zill. As I would like to continue, next I would like to introduce the Boy Scout Troop 776, who will be presenting our colors for this evening.
Color guard, attention. Will the audience please rise? Color guard, advance. Color guard, halt. Color guard, post the colors.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard, retreat. Color guard dismissed. You may be seated.
Great job, young men. Great job. Let's give them one more round of appreciation, please. We have some special guests here tonight that I would like to recognize, and would you please raise your hand as I call your name. Luke Schaefer from District 1. Jim O'Hara from District 2. Marco San Antonio representing District 4. Mayor Bruce Ehlers. Representing Congressman Mike Levin, Salome Tosh. Representing Senator Catherine Blakespear, Matt Rebull. Representing Assemblywoman Tasha Borner, Anna Medinovic. I'm a little biased here, folks. This is my brother from another brother, mother from another, my brother from another mother. There we go. Chief Deputy Accessory County of San Diego, Jordan Marks. There you go, Jordan, over there. Thank you. Chief Manager, Jennifer Campbell. Captain Shane Watts of the Sheriff's Department. Fire Chief Josh Gordon. Olivenheim Municipal Water District Board members Christy Guerin. Kelly Wells of Visit California. I think that's everyone, Carol, is that correct? Awesome, thank you. Now, folks, I have the opportunity to introduce my colleagues. Again, I am the board chair, but I now would like to introduce the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I want to pause here just for a moment. These folks that I'm about to introduce are dedicated, committed members of the community. They work hard, diligently behind the scenes advocating for many of the businesses, organizations that's here in this room and others throughout the community. It's often not bearing witness to what they see behind the curtains, if you will, but I'm in these meetings and they're fighting for you every single moment. Allow me and help me show them some appreciation. So I'm going to ask you folks to stand, starting with Andrew Oot. Please stand. Gabrielle Ribello. Please remain standing. Ruweda Matin. Michael Glenn. Kareem Busta. Chris Ramos. Kelly Peters. Logan Betts. John Kochik. Andy Solar. Jim Bettadetti. And David DaCosta. So folks, I just have one request again. As they advocate your businesses, many of these folks here, they are business owners. They also represent organizations. My request of you is please support these businesses as well as they're supporting you. Can we do that? Thank you very much. You may take your seat. Next, I would like to introduce a young lady that's a friend, a colleague, someone that's an excellent strategist. She is the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce and Visit Encinitas CEO. She is a hardworking person, dedicated and committed. I tell you, none like no other I ever seen. I encourage you to be in alignment. If you're not, she would do her best to get you there from a very positive, constructive way. She has great relationships throughout the community. Please allow me to ask her to stand up. She doesn't like this, but I'm doing it anyway. Excuse me. Allow her to stand up and show her some appreciation. Sherry Yardley. The next group of folks I would like to introduce, again, equally, they're part of the staff. And for those of you who work in the nonprofit world, you know, it can be very challenging at times, making ends meet, limited budget, and you have a huge request and response from the community. These folks here, are the staff that works for the chamber. Their names are Carol Knight, if I shared with you the amount of hours this group have spent on putting this organization or this event together, it will blow you away. And this is just one event, right? Let me continue with Michelle Sanchez, Laura Carlton, Tim Winfrey, and Gabby Reyes. Please show them some appreciation, please. And one more hardworking group, and they just do it because they love it. They are committed equally, just like the staff and the board. Please give it up for all of the hardworking volunteers and the chamber team, please. Thank you. Okay, the chamber is coming off of its 60th anniversary year. How many of you attended that event, our 60th anniversary party? Wasn't that a great event? Thank you very much for supporting it. We want to continue to bring that type of venues to you. And now, folks, as we continue, I would like to introduce a video from our Chamber of Commerce and Visit Encinitas, CEO Sherry Yardley, and Tourism Chair Michael Glenn. Please watch the screens.
Good evening. I'm Sherry Yardley, CEO of the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce. Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sherry Yardley, CEO of the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce and Visit Encinitas. Tonight is about you, our business owners, residents, and community leaders. You are what makes Encinitas special. The Chamber exists to support and strengthen you and your city. As we reflect on 2024, I'm proud of what we've accomplished and excited for what's ahead. This year's State of the City theme, Preserving Our Paradise, Back to Basics, is more than a slogan. It's a call to action. While we celebrate Encinitas' unique character, we must also strengthen the foundation that sustains our community. The Chamber plays a vital role in supporting businesses, driving economic vitality, and ensuring sustainable growth. Last year, we marked our 60th anniversary with a celebration and awards dinner, honoring our history while embracing the future. We celebrated resilience, collaboration, and the entrepreneurial spirit that defines Encinitas. The Chamber is more than an organization. It's a lifeline for businesses. Through monthly mixers, networking events, and business workshops, we create opportunities for you to connect, learn, and grow. Our Coffee on the Camino and Coffee on the Go events have strengthened relationships within the business district of El Camino Real, fostering open dialogue between city leaders and businesses. We advocate for smart policies that support businesses and environmental sustainability. Through our civic engagement meetings and advocacy committees, we help shape a thriving, responsible economy. Workforce development is also a priority. Our Rising Star program recognizes outstanding high school students, awarding scholarships to help them achieve their dreams. Through partnerships with the SoCal Workforce Program and MiraCosta College, we're creating career pathways and building a skilled workforce right here in Encinitas. Our city thrives on culture, wellness, and community. The Chamber's signature events, including the Health and Wellness Expo and Oktoberfest, plus our partnership events like EcoFest and Encinitas Wine and Food Festival, bring people together while supporting local businesses. Tourism is a lifeline for many businesses, and Visit Encinitas has been instrumental in promoting responsible tourism. Last year, we launched a new Visit Encinitas website to highlight local businesses, attractions, and hidden gems, driving economic vitality while preserving our city's charm. The 5 distinct communities of Encinitas create a vibrant, connected culture that attracts customers and supports businesses. The Chamber works hard to preserve this character while driving economic growth in all 5 communities. Here is what our members are saying. Back to basics isn't just about preservation, it's about reinforcing the foundation that allows Encinitas to flourish. By prioritizing business, community, and sustainability, we ensure our city remains a paradise for generations to come. Looking ahead in 2025, we're launching exciting new initiatives such as Spill the Tea, the Young Professionals Network, and the Encinitas Fund. Your support makes all of this possible. Whether you're a business owner, community leader, or resident, you are the heart of Encinitas, driving its success and vibrancy. We couldn't achieve all we do without the dedication of our board members, volunteers, and staff. Their passion and commitment fuel the Chamber's mission, creating a lasting impact that strengthens our entire community. The Chamber is more than an organization. It's a connector, a problem solver, and a champion for Encinitas. But our true impact isn't measured by what we say. It's reflected in the success of our businesses and the vitality of our city. Thank you all for being part of this journey.
Michael Glenn
Great
here,
job.
Chairman of the
Thank you.
Encinitas Tourism Committee. As you know, we live in a truly beautiful place. It's no surprise that people want to visit Encinitas. With its stunning beaches, vibrant culture like the Institute of Contemporary Art, where I am today, and laid-back charm, we've become a sought-after destination. As our city transitioned from an agricultural-based economy, many of our businesses have become tourism-related. Today, the success of our city is deeply tied to the visitors who come to enjoy everything we have to offer. That's why we work hard to support Visit Encinitas. The mission of Visit Encinitas is to be stewards of our city by supporting our local businesses. When visitors come, they shop, dine, and experience our unique offerings. This boosts sales, reduces empty storefronts, and helps keep our local economy strong. However, a recent set of reports states that sales tax revenue is running at about 30% of the original estimate at the 6-month point. This underscores the importance of maintaining a strong tourism sector as tax revenue funds critical infrastructure projects that benefit everyone in our community. Of course, it's not just about dollars and cents. It's about controlling the narrative and preserving the essence of Encinitas. We want visitors to experience all the magic our city offers, but we ask for respect. Let's encourage them to visit us during the off-season and to help ease the strain on our resources during peak times and educate them on being good stewards of our natural habitat. Since launching visitencinitasca.com last June, we've seen a significant increase in engagement, with viewers spending twice as long on our website. We've even caught the attention of national media like Good Morning America, shining a spotlight on all that makes Encinitas so special. We're also working with partners of ours like the Encinitas Historical Society on a bike mural tour. And we've also created Hello Encinitas, a series of fun short videos that goes behind the scenes to see the people, places, and things that make this town so amazing. None of this would have been possible without the collaboration from our diverse community. We're grateful for the input from our Travel Advisory Board representing tourism-related industries, feedback from residents, and the involvement of local businesses along the 101 and El Camino Real corridor. And of course, a big thank you to our mayor and the City Council for their ongoing support. It truly takes a village to make all this happen. Together, we're building a thriving, vibrant community welcoming visitors while ensuring that Encinitas remains a wonderful place to live, work, and play.
I like what Michael said. Hello, Encinitas. Can we all say that together, please? Hello, Encinitas. I like that. Thank you, Michael. As we continue here, folks, I would like to introduce the 3 Main Street associations on everything they do to support our community. Joy Shepard from Cardiff 101. Evan Larkin from Encinitas 101. And Lucadia's 101's Nikki Harth and Stacy Riddell. We're going to show you some more videos, please. Please stand by.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joy Shepard, president of Cardiff 101. It's been an exciting year for the Cardiff community, and I'm proud to share some of the highlights of our work. Our collective efforts continue to strengthen the sense of unity and connection that make this such a special place to live. This year, we've organized a range of events that brought us all together. Events not only that celebrate the heart of Cardiff, but also strengthen our ties as neighbors. From the delightful Taste of Cardiff to the festive Kringle Mingle and our collaboration with the city to host the ever-popular Dog Days of Summer. These events have brought smiles, fun, and meaningful moments to our community. We focused on improving our community infrastructure to make Cardiff even safer and more accessible. Thanks to our partnership with the city, we were able to facilitate a much-needed crosswalk and a safer pathway that now connect our community to the beautiful Sanalijo Lagoon. And as part of our ongoing commitment to inclusivity, we're currently collaborating with the city to add the very first ADA-compliant parking spot on Sanalijo Avenue. We've invested in the arts with vibrant new public art installations that showcase the creativity of our community. The mural along Chesterfield is a standout, and we're especially grateful to the City of Encinitas Public Art Sculpture Loan Program for bringing Deanne Sabick's luminous wave sculpture to our community, adding beauty and character to our landscape. Supporting our small businesses continues to be top priority. This year, we hosted an invaluable Q&A session for business owners with the sheriff and city employees. We updated our crime prevention resources card and shared them with organizations throughout Encinitas. We celebrated Small Business Saturday and the second anniversary of the Cardiff Farmers Market, which continues to grow and thrive thanks to the support of both our residents and visitors. None of this would have been possible without the dedication of our incredible volunteers, committee members, and dedicated board. Together, we will continue to make Cardiff a wonderful place to live, work, and play. And here's to a fantastic 2025.
Hi, my name is Evan Larkin, and I am honored to serve as the newly elected president of the Encinitas 101 Main Street Association. And I'm thrilled to share with you our progress and some exciting developments we have in store for our beloved downtown Encinitas. Going into 2025, our organization remains committed to supporting our local businesses, fostering vibrant downtown community, and serving as a resource for residents and visitors alike. We do this through business mixers, networking events, infrastructure improvements, placemaking, art projects, and of course, our events on the 101. We are also regularly working with local artists and sponsors to create murals, art installations, and other points of interest around the city. Specifically, this year, we'll be putting some attention on those new concrete stanchions that have been placed all around the outdoor dining patios on the 101. We're probably the most well known for our big events, which bring tens of thousands of people to the Encinitas 101 Main Street every single year. Our biggest event this year is the 2-day Spring Street Fair in April, followed by the 1-day Fall Street Fair in November. We have great bands, we have local vendors, and these events bring upwards of 15,000 people every day that they're on to our downtown. We also do the Encinitas Cruise Nights on the third Thursday of the month between May and September. This is a great event series that features classic cars lining the 101, live music from local bands, and drives between 2,000 to 4,000 people to the Coast Highway from all across San Diego County. We also put on the highly anticipated Taste of Encinitas, which sells out every single year and showcases the heart and soul of our community by connecting our great restaurants with retail shops and our local residents. And of course, we can't forget about the family favorite, our Safe Trick or Treat on October 31st, which is a fantastic collaboration between local businesses, community organizations, and our local residents. All of these events are promoted throughout Southern California and help maintain Encinitas as a top destination for both locals and tourists alike. I couldn't be happier to be part of this incredible organization, to be able to work with our local business owners and our residents to continue to make Encinitas a great place to live, work, and play.
Hi, I'm Nikki Harth. I'm president of Leucadia 101 Main Street Association.
Hi, my name is Stacy Riddell. I am the executive director at Leucadia 101 Main Street Association. L101 serves hundreds of small businesses, restaurants and bars, boutiques and wellness providers all along North Coast Highway in Leucadia.
We're also strategic community partners with the City of Encinitas and advocate for economic vitality and sustainability in our corridor.
It is truly amazing to see how far we've really come over the past 25 years. Our annual arts and cultural events attract tens of thousands of residents and visitors each year.
We are successful because we have learned over the years how to really focus our energy to create a rich connection between local businesses, our residents, and our tourists in everything we do.
Taste of Leucadia in April, Battle of the Bands in May, Summer Fun on the 101 in June, and Leucadia Art Walk at the end of August have all become iconic cultural traditions in our community.
In addition to our local brick and mortar small business owners, L101 also manages the Leucadia Farmers Market, one of the biggest community-centric economic drivers in Leucadia.
We support more than 100 local farmers, specialty food makers, and creative entrepreneurs on a weekly basis. We are their economic lifeline, and they are the heart and soul that make Leucadia Farmers Market so incredible.
Our goal for the year ahead is to help keep Encinitas dollars in Encinitas by attracting new investment, strengthening our local economy, and enhancing the quality of life for all Leucadians and Encinitas residents.
Folks, there are many initiatives and programs and exciting events from last year. We can't wait to see what happened in 2025 and what that holds for us. One of the things that you can find, or hopefully that you bear witness to in those videos, is collaboration. We have the three Main Street associations. You have the chamber, and it's about working together. Could you guys say that word with me, collaboration, please? Collaboration. Thank you. With that being said, folks, now have the opportunity to introduce our next speaker. Have the opportunity to go for a walk at Spooks Canyon with his wife, his dog, Reggie, and that was a really great experience. There I had an opportunity to learn a little bit more about our mayor, his family, what's important to him, his passion for the community, how he fights for you day in and day out. Without any further ado, allow me to introduce our mayor, Bruce Ehlers, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. You talk about passions. One of my passions is basketball. And how many people here watch March Madness? So I need to talk to the chamber about scheduling this on the very first night of March Madness. Next year, I think so so I have a challenge for you. If I see you looking down, watching a game, I'm gonna call on you, and you have to give me the score, okay? So with that, let us begin. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us for the annual State of the City Address. Tonight, we're going to reflect on the last year, but more importantly, we are going to look into the future. Tonight, we'll focus on the basics. Excuse me, let me get this in the right place. We'll focus on the basics of what makes Encinitas great, and I'll provide my vision for the coming year. And, we have a different? No. I need the clicker. So this I have to be coordinated. I have to be able to click and talk at the same time. So Encinitas is special. We live in paradise, but I think you all know that. The word seems to be getting out, so please stop telling all your friends, stop telling all your family how wonderful it is here. You know, the traffic's getting heavy, the surf lineups are packed, the crowds are getting pretty big, and they're all bad enough as they are. So the fundamental question facing us is how we maintain our slice of paradise while so that we can still have what we love in our town and it stays that way. Before I get too far into my speech, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting tonight's event. Your support of our businesses and business community benefits all of us, and I appreciate the chance to share my vision for our future here tonight. I also want to acknowledge the city staff who keeps things running as smoothly as possible. The council does not do the work. That's so true, but we definitely take the credit. So thank you, staff. We appreciate all that you do. Lastly, I want to thank my wife for her support and patience of my other job. She has been putting up with my city job for over 20 years. Although she supports my work, I've often joked, I'm still not sure I received her vote on election day. So, you know, but my wife's right over here, and Beth, I got to tell you, I love you. Whether you vote for me or not, I hope I earned your vote this next election. I don't know that I will. And I'm grateful for your love and support at home and the extreme patience with my work. Thank you. So in my opinion, and you'll hear this from the dais too, I think the other council members feel the same way. Encinitas is the best city in the state. It's the best city in the country. I mean, again, we all agree, right? Yeah, here, you can applaud that, absolutely. We have many opportunities to keep it that way in the year ahead. My fellow council members, Luke Schaefer from District 1, Jim O'Hara from District 2, Deputy Mayor Joy Lyons from District 3, and our newest council member, Marco San Antonio from District 4, all understand, all recognize the work we have to do. So, as a new mayor, I was issued these rose-colored glasses, right? You know, it's standard issue from the state. They give it to all newly elected people. And when you put them on, wow, everything looks wonderful. There are no problems, and it's all good news. All you'll ever hear from me is good news. And but tonight, we'll dispense with the rose-colored glasses, and we'll look at the city with a little more critical eye. You'll hear, we'll look at a mix of accomplishments, but also some of the problems and opportunities for improvement. And after all, how else can we continually improve if we don't look at both sides of the ledger? And so, are you with me? Sound good? Okay, appreciate it. Go to the next slide. There we go. So in past years, tonight's State of the City address has a new format. And it has a new format because in years past, the whole council would be here for this talk. But California Attorney General came up with a new ruling, and he ruled that gatherings like this qualify as public meetings. And therefore, they constitute a public meeting under the Brown Act, which is our open meeting law here in California. And as a result, we would have to, if they were here, we would have to have a preset agenda. We would have to have public comments from the floor ahead of time, and that'd get a little cumbersome. So, and also this year, so they're actually not going to be here. And also to ensure everyone at the city, within the city, has a chance to hear my vision for our city without having to pay a fee, I will repeat this speech at next Wednesday's council meeting. Now, of course, at that meeting, we won't have all the great food, and we definitely won't have an open bar. Although I've been thinking about it, I think an open bar might be an improvement for city council meetings, huh? You know, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I keep getting applause over here, isn't that great? So let's get to it. One of the first steps I'm taking is getting us refocused on our general plan. Our general plan is our guiding document, and has been since we adopted it back in 1989. It incorporates the guiding vision for Encinitas. It is our city's constitution. At some point, our general plan started taking a back seat to annually updated strategic plans. And in my opinion, any plan that you have to update each year is not strategic. It's not a strategic plan, as the name might suggest. Beginning this year, council staff reports will include a section citing how the recommended decisions align with our general plan. Most cities in California already do this. The Planning Commission reports already do this and have always done it that way. So let's move on to priorities. So these are my top 3 priorities, although there's a long list below the top 3. I don't think I'm overstating it when I say that the state's usurping of local zoning control is one of the biggest issues facing Encinitas. That much is clear. But what we haven't found yet is a way to meet the state requirements without sacrificing what makes Encinitas special. You know, that unique personalities and charm of our 5 communities and the nice walkable scale. We need to consider how projects will affect surrounding neighborhoods, as well as the entire community, evaluating things like traffic, emergency preparedness, environmental impacts, and the character of our town. We have recent examples of projects that I don't believe meet our standards. And together with statewide groups like Our Neighborhood Voices and regional organizations like SANDAG, I'm hopeful that we can take back control of our regional housing needs allocation. That's what the state sends to us. It's called RENA. And to make those decisions about growth in Encinitas by Encinitans. I will now speak in more detail about these top 3 priorities. We need to regain local control of land use and housing, as I said. This needs to happen because the state doesn't know Encinitas like we do. Time and time again, our community has validated the spirit of Prop A. Prop A is the 2013 proposition that required voter approval on zoning, height, and density increases. I believe in Prop A, and the local voters are the best ones to make those types of decisions. Take a look at our city's logo up on the screen. It depicts bluff, sea, valley views like the photo behind it. Our logo graphically captures several of the endearing qualities of Encinitas. The state does not share that vision for Encinitas. They'd have a big 10-story building in the middle if they had the logo. Speaking of which, for too long, the state has mandated zoning changes, and this is an example. And I think we all have projects that come to mind when we think of bad housing projects. This photo simulation depicts the Goodson project in Levenheim. It is currently under construction and towers over the neighboring homes and businesses. It should be the poster child for state-mandated planning. There are a dozen other similar projects throughout Encinitas that all are either nearing completion, under construction, or in the approval process. The state's overreach is not limited just to large housing projects being forced upon us. So, by a show of hands, how many are familiar with SB 9? Anybody know? I see a few people. Interesting. So, SB 9 permits most residential lots in Encinitas to be, and all through the state, to be subdivided into 2 lots, even if the lots are below our minimum zoning density. So, you can take a minimum density, cut it in half, and then on each of those 2 lots, you can put a duplex. 2 units on each. That's for a total of 4. And each one of those duplex now, and this is current law, can have an additional ADU. That's 8 units or a single house and an ADU were allowed before. SB 9 essentially ended single-family housing zones in California. That's serious. That's a serious change to our land use. The law took effect in 2022, and we're just starting to see the projects pop up in Encinitas. So it's not just the big projects, it's small projects too. Do we need more housing, specifically homes that our children and wage workers can afford? Yes, we do, but I do not think that SB 9 is the right solution to get us there. And this is the most important part, it does not include any requirement for lower income housing. Let me repeat that. It does not include lower income housing requirements. That's ridiculous because that was the legislative purpose used to pass that law. So our council, the new council majority will lobby against and oppose these type of state laws that usurp our local control. So I'll move on to the second priority, which is homelessness, and it's another opportunity to improve our city and reduce homelessness and get the homeless population safely off the street. The city has 2 complementary obligations. One, to enforce our laws against infractions such as public drunkenness, defecating in public, camping on public property, threatening behavior, and petty theft. And number 2, also to provide compassionate treatment for those experiencing homelessness within our city boundaries. There are 2 recent changes in the law that help our law enforcement efforts. Prop 36, the Homeless Drug Addiction and Theft Reduction Act, was passed in November by the voters and went into effect in December. It was passed with an overwhelming 68.4% of the vote. That's huge. That's a landslide. It amended and restored punishment for certain repeated drug offenses while retaining judicial discretion. It restores the judge's option to mandate treatment in lieu of jail time. That's great. That's been missing since 2014. This is a very significant improvement. The other change was that the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling on a case in Grants Pass, Oregon. You may have read about it in the paper. This change enables our sheriff and county prosecutor to now effectively address people violating the law when they're camping on public property. So it returned our ability to enforce our anti-camping ban. The one thing I'll tell you is I always remind people, however, homelessness is not a crime. The thing that we're enforcing are when laws are broken. We do this through a combination of public services. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. We also have an obligation to treat homeless with compassion and offer services that help us transition back into society. We do this through a combination of public services and public-private partnerships. For example, our city's Homeless Outreach Protective Enforcement Officers, HOPE for short, is a team that contacts our homeless and attempts to get them into shelter and safely off the streets. This is great. The city should do this. I'm proud to say that last year we added 2 more officers so that we now have a sufficient staff to cover both weekdays and weekends. This is a kitchen from Buena Creek Navigation Center, an important project that is part of our solution for homelessness. In partnership with the City of Vista and Senator Blake Spear's office, we now have 12 dedicated beds that for those needing an interim safe place to sleep, and where we can provide comprehensive support services to help bridge the gap between the shelter and more permanent housing. Just this week, we celebrated the 1-year anniversary, so it's great. And it shows that we can work together to support our residents who are experiencing homelessness and enforce laws at the same time. It's not an either-or situation. In summary, with this new legislation, new dedicated officers, and our community partners, I'm optimistic we'll be able to reduce homelessness on our streets while enhancing our sense of security throughout Encinitas. I'll move on to my favorite, pavement. And if you look at this, this is almost anywhere in Encinitas, too often, I would say. And so as a city, we should invest in first basic infrastructure before vanity or beautification projects. We need to invest in the basics, and that includes repairing pavement, rehabilitating storm drains, fixing Leucadia flooding, implementing quiet zones, and at-grade crossings. Nothing is more basic, though, than pavement. If we maintain our roads now, we can avoid expensive issues later. It's not rocket science, it's just common sense. So I love sharing this slide. This is our pavement condition index, and the city measures our pavement condition every year, or we measure it every 5 years, but we project it every year based on how much repaving we do. And it goes from 0 to 100, 100 being a brand new paved street. And back in 2018, we were at 74, which is good, but it has been steadily declining. And it's projected to continue to decline to 65 in the coming years if we do not increase the level of budget for repaving and sealing our pavement. So you see the trend. The trend of this slide speaks volumes and easily convinces me that we, as a council, as a city, need to dedicate an additional $1 million or more of the general funds to reverse this trend, because we certainly don't want it to be getting worse and worse. Broken pavement is not only, better pavement is necessary to have a safe system of roads for vehicles, but also for micromobility and bicycles. In fact, broken pavement's probably the most dangerous for the bicyclists. And so if we want to be a truly safe city for all modes of transportation, pavement's the place to start. Another infrastructure issue is aging and rusting storm drains. So no, this is not a new art sculpture that goes into our parks. This is actually one of my photos from the Leucadia, from Lake Drive in Cardiff, when they pulled out the old piping of where the failure occurred. And I'll draw your attention to the holes, the rusted through holes. And if I backed up, you'd see a lot more rust and a lot more holes. This is what's buried under many of our streets. This photo, most of our drains in Encinitas, most of these corrugated metal drains are 50 to 60 years old. The majority of them are. And we're beginning to see failures in the form of sinkholes during major rain events. 2 years ago, we suffered 6 major sinkholes, and they cost us $3.7 million to repair. Wow, $3.7 million to repair. Maybe we should be putting $1 million or $2 million in per year ahead of time and avoid that in the future. And so a relined pipe, and what they do is they reline them while they're under. If you do it before they collapse, It'll last 75 years, just like a brand new pipe, just like a brand new concrete pipe. But it'll cost you half as much not having to dig it up. And so that's really an advantage. So I'm a proponent for proactively solving this and avoiding the failures like you see here. This is a photo of the storm drain failure that occurred at Lake Drive. And I wanted to include this so you get an idea of the scale of what happened when you put a lot of stormwater through there and it takes out a whole gully. And it's also an example of what happens if you don't practice proactive repair. So as I said, the pipes are all over Encinitas, and we need to get in front of this and not behind it. So my plan is to increase our annual investment in storm drains from an average of $250,000 a year to up to at least $1 million a year additional. And according to staff, in about 5 years, we'll have lined most of the existing corrugated metal pipes in Encinitas. So we just need to be more proactive, and ultimately then we'll be more fiscally responsive. Another favorite discussion would be about flooding. And this is another one of my pictures. I have a habit of going out every time it rains. And that brings me to Leucadia Streetscape project and the reoccurring flooding in Leucadia. I believe in the fundamental improvements we are making in that area. Leucadia has been impacted by flooding for too long, and we can't finish streetscape without addressing the area's drainage, which extends beyond just 101. It extends all the way up the hill up to just west of I-5. You know, flooding is a very important, I'm sure there are a lot of Leucadians here, flooding is a very important issue to the many neighborhoods in Leucadia. Since being elected to council, I've spent many a night in Leucadia learning firsthand about flooding. During the heavy rain squall we had come through about, 2 weeks ago, I toured Leucadia's flooding at 7 p.m., 10 p.m., and I went back at 2:30 a.m. And I'm so serious about this, I actually went out and bought boots, okay? So I can go out and walk in that stuff because my shoes are getting pretty wet. So, and I'm threatening to buy boots for the rest of the council and staff, so yeah. But I challenge everybody to come join me out there, and, and see firsthand the many flooded streets. I mean, I have a standard route I drive, I go around. And so in the meantime, we're adding additional pumps. Now, pumps are just a stopgap measure to avoid damage to some of the houses out there. But ultimately, we need to fund approximately $51 million in new piping under Leucadia. $51 million. That sounds like a lot of money. It is. But you can think of it as $5 million a year for 10 years. And this is the problem we've had for the whole time we've been a city, and it's about time we make a commitment and get in front of this problem too. So hopefully as we go into the budget cycle this year, I'll be making my arguments, and the other council members will get to hear my arguments, and I hope everybody in Leucadia will come to next Wednesday at 4 p.m. and talk at the budget hearing and tell us we need to fix Leucadia flooding, or send mail, whatever you do. Okay, so one more Leucadia item especially, and that is Leucadia at-grade crossings and quiet zones. And so, yeah, I'm a proponent of at-grade crossings, the 2 at-grade crossings in Leucadia, and also quiet zones, because they make sense and it's safe, and I consider it part of basic infrastructure. And so we also need the crossings to be quieter. Now, many Encinitas live within the railroad blast zone and are subjected to jarringly loud train horns. And we've seen how well Cardiff Quiet Zone has worked, and the undercrossings at the grade infrastructure can benefit you. You can imagine what living with this is like. More than 30 coaster trains a day go by, and when you add freight trains and Amtrak, we absolutely have to put in quiet zones. So I asked staff to go out and take this video. They did a great job, and I think it makes my point better than I could ever make, right? Imagine, living there. You go out for beer there. You have to stop your conversation when you're on the 101 and wait for the train horn to go by. So I plan to invest in at-grade crossings and quiet zones as part of the city's basic infrastructure. So I will now move on to other accomplishments and significant priorities. Like I said, there's a lot below that. I didn't want to list them all out because we'd be here all night. And I promise I won't talk for more than 2 hours. So parks are key. I campaigned on this. I still believe it, especially near our state mandated housing. Everyone needs open space to enjoy and relax outside. Our city council, the current new one, recently restored the L7 lot on Quail Gardens Drive as a future park. It will soon become a park as intended. The land was purchased by the city in 1998 with park funds for park use. It's critically needed in the city at that location because we've approved approximately 1,000 new housing units, that's about 3,000 people, up and down that same corridor. So it's exactly the place we need a park. Those new and existing residents deserve a park. So let's move on to Beacons Beach. While it's always disappointing to lose parking spaces, the redesigned parking lot at Beacons Beach and the sidewalks there make the entire area safer. And we had to move it back beyond a fault zone. And the goal was to make it safer. And I'm committed to maintaining the natural path down to the beach and restoring it quickly if it's ever damaged in the future. So I think it's unique to Encinitas having a path down like that at Beacons, and people just love it. It's part of what makes Encinitas, Encinitas. Let's see. We'll move on to sand replenishment. We recently completed another sand replenishment project as part of our 50-year plan. So this goes back not only the current council, the past council, the previous council is back, boy, at least a dozen years now, that this project has been in place. This plan widens our beaches and, most importantly, protects against erosion and storm damage while improving public safety and recreation at our beaches. This is a collaborative project with the state and the city of Solana Beach. And it shows what can be accomplished when we put in place long-term solutions to our problems. However, when this project was approved, Leucadia beaches north of Beacons were omitted. I'm committed to finding additional and opportunistic sources of sand for those beaches. Sand replenishment serves our residents in multiple ways. It's necessary to support our enjoyment of the beach and of the ocean, and it's also critical to bluff stability and slowing bluff collapse. This project addresses multiple problems with a single solution. I like that. I get 2 for 1. I'll move on now to Moonlight Beach and protecting our natural beauty. The natural beauty of our town is undeniable, and it spans from our coastlines to our canyons and every space in between. We continue to earn the Tree City designation by the Arbor Day Foundation. Our community cares about the environment, it cares about our beaches and being a responsible steward of the environment. Our decisions as a community are rooted in this, and we do the right thing in small ways and in big ways. One small example was we were able to save the Canary Island palm tree at Moonlight Beach when it was infected with palm weevil. Saving that tree was important because it's important to the community. And it was important, so we got it done. And that you'll see that we're very practical here. Moving on to Pacific View. In addition to our environment, and again, this credit goes back to past councils, but in addition to our environment, our community cares about arts and preserving history. It would be hard to walk around the city without seeing evidence of this. And of course, we recently opened the long-awaited Pacific Arts Center, which will be a beacon for the arts for many, many years to come. The classes and events calendars are just bustling. They're pretty busy. It's the home for arts of all kinds and all ages. The city purchased the land and funded restoration of the classic 1950s schoolhouse building. I toured the building with former Mayor Kranz back a few years ago, and I tell you, I was impressed. I was impressed with the quality of the construction. The concrete floor, for example, was 70 years old, and it is just had a beautiful finish, and they hadn't even finished it yet. It wasn't a crack hardly anywhere. I wanted to hire those people that did it for my house, but it was 70 years ago. So the site is shared with this historic 1950s schoolhouse, but also the Encinitas Historic Society and the one-room schoolhouse. Both buildings are now preserved, and they're both repurposed for the future. And it shows how we can honor the past while incorporating our future. With the recent wildfires impacting Los Angeles and San Diego County, it's critical we stay focused on making sure our public safety personnel are given everything they need to continue protecting our community. Fire Station 1, located downtown, and Fire Station 6 in Olevenhain are top of my mind. The Pacific View site will become the temporary home of Fire Station 1, and it's kind of up there in the right in the red if you can see it. The old Fire Station 1, located downtown, was recently condemned due to seismic issues. So we had to find a new place. And its crew is temporarily, right now, housed up in Leucadia across the train tracks in Fire Station 3. So it's it does not work operationally for the long-term solution. We had to find a more suitable location for the temporary home and recently selected the unused corner here of the Pacific View property. And this is temporary. It will go back to being an unused corner in the future. This saves money because we already own the land, so we're not paying rent. So it's a fiscally prudent thing to do too. You'll see that theme throughout my presentation. We need both of them, and this plan helps us get us there. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the section. So we're buying temporary structures for the quarters and for the engine bays, and we possibly can reuse those in Station 6 in Olevenhain once we find a permanent location out there. So if we can work the timing out, we can get one, use it here, use the temporary structures, then reuse it in Olevenhain later. And again, save money. Well, this is Santa Fe Drive. This picture is Santa Fe Drive with maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. Yeah. I would be remiss if I did not address the Santa Fe Drive streetscape tonight. The council recently paused, the new council recently paused the work on Santa Fe. Didn't stop it, didn't change it yet. I don't know if we will. When concerns about the road geometry and safe traffic flow arose, the new council saw enough evidence to raise serious concerns and voted to pause and let the street operate for a couple of months so we could observe the flow. We agreed the striping would be installed, the orange cones removed, and the road would be open to traffic and parking for about 2 months while school was in session. And we're about to start that 2-month observation period. You ought to see everything's almost finished up, and we want to see how it operates. So our goal is for everyone, regardless of preferred mode of transportation, to be able to travel safely, but we cannot lose sight of what drivers need. This means our roads must efficiently and safely transport goods and people, while also supporting safety for bicyclists and pedestrians. It needs to be a safe road for students, pedestrians, cyclists, but we also must be realistic about the impacts to traffic flow and emergency response times. So over the next 2 months, I hope everybody gets their video cameras out and takes pictures of what they see working and what they see not working, and then we'll be talking about it at council in a couple of months. As I've said in other forums, we're going to get it to be a functional and safe roadway for everyone. And until we have a better plan, it doesn't make sense to continue investing in the improvements that may or may not work. So we've heard your feedback, and that's why we believe pausing Santa Fe was the right thing to do. Next, we'll move on to City Hall. At our core, Our town is a friendly, service-oriented city, which is why I want to make sure that our city services are as personable and welcoming as we are. We have a wonderful staff that truly care about our community, but in some cases, we're not always seamless to work with. Again, remember, rose-colored glasses came off. So we have an opportunity to improve our permit processing, for example. I've received many complaints over the past 2 years, and longer actually, about excessive permitting delays. Again, as an example, the impact to businesses, homeowners, and residents is incredible. I won't make excuses as to why it's been happening, but we just need to fix it. And so we are addressing this through process improvements and organizational changes at the city. Our new city manager, Jennifer Campbell, and our council will be focusing on organizational goals, objectives, and improved processes that should streamline permitting and city services. Our goal is to improve transparency and throughput. This is a key area that I'll be focusing on in the next year ahead. And while we're at it, I've got one small example, if you'll excuse me while I open up my phone. I have to put in my shameless plug. One great example of the city's focus on better engagement is the My Encinitas app. Download it today. I'm here to tell you that it works. I use it, but I encourage everyone to use it. Now, you can report homeless, you can report a bump in the road, a pothole, anything through this. And I'll give you an example why I say it works. A few months ago, I saw a very large pile of dirt along El Camino Real. It was covering the sidewalk. It was out into the bike lane and partially into the road lane. I mean, it was a dump truck load. And the next day, before I had a chance to turn it in, a resident called me and said she had seen it and wanted to know if I could get it fixed. And I said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you download my Encinitas app? And I had her turn it in. She called me the next day and it was gone. Now, I'm not promising that everything will happen in one day, but it just showed that it works. It works. And I purposely had her do it, so it wasn't, at that time I was council member, it wasn't a council member sending it in, it was just a constituent. So use my Encinitas app, but this is a good example of things at the city that work well. It helps the city staff by fitting into their process, and you get emails back as far as status. So let's move on to downtown. And fostering a healthy business community is another basic that I would be remiss not to mention, especially tonight. To me, supporting businesses means encouraging a mix of restaurants, stores, and services, and investing in infrastructure. You heard that theme before. This past year, we saw the opening of a few businesses, and we continue to be a community that supports local shops. In the future, I would love to see us embrace a broad spectrum of businesses in Encinitas. The citizens want more than a downtown based on, quote, coffee and alcohol establishments. They want specialty stores, shops, small offices, and a full spectrum of services. Our collective commitment to supporting local businesses, artists, innovators, and active lifestyles is showcased in our thriving small businesses that flourish alongside bigger establishments. My goal is, and always will be, to make it easier for folks to do business in and with Encinitas. With the help of organizations like the Chamber of Commerce and our Main Street associations, Encinitas is luckier than most. Our community believes in the spirit of entrepreneurship and supports our fellow Encinitans, whether it's at the farmer's market that we talked about earlier, or the storefront, or even online. Our business community is a main component of what makes Encinitas the city we love. And I know everyone in this room, especially, will join me in a sense of optimism of what's to come. So, as a 40-year resident in Encinitas, I believe our city is paradise. You'll hear me say that all the time. Our main role in governing the city is to keep it that way. As I like to call it, we don't want to kill the golden goose. And it absolutely can be done. I'll come to a close here, and there's an old Henry Ford saying that I like, an old Henry Ford quote, and it's, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Think about that. I say we can preserve our Encinitas paradise, and I am committed to achieving that goal. If we give up, we lose. I won't give up. Achieving our goal will take a practical approach. We don't need to make things more complicated. We need to get back to basics of city functions first and foremost. Stay focused on what makes Encinitas so special. It's about supporting our businesses. It's about investing in infrastructure first. It's about letting the beauty of our town speak for itself. And it's about balancing the need for change while preserving what's working. It's about ensuring that we have control over important decisions in Encinitas so we can have a metered approach to development, work to solve the root cause of homelessness, and uphold the laws that for the benefit of everyone. With that in mind, I want to end on a note of extreme optimism for our future. We have significant opportunities to enhance the Encinitas we love. I look forward to working with you, hearing your feedback, and solving the problems together. Paradise is what we have, and it's up to us to keep it that way. Before I hand back to Richard, I want to thank everyone who made tonight possible, starting with the Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for hosting such a great evening. I'd also like to thank our event sponsors, the 101 Artist Colony, Cardiff 101, the City of Encinitas, Community Resource Center, Cox Communications, EDCO Waste and Recycling, Encinitas Action, Encinita Enterprise Bank and Trust, maybe they should make that Encinitas Bank and Trust, and Fox Point Farms, Lucadia 101, and Magdalena Ecke YMCA, Family YMCA, Miracosta Foundation, San Diego Gas and Electric, Scripps Health, and the Grauer School. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ellers. Great job there, folks. I like that quote by Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Do you think we can? Yes. Let's try that again. Do you think we can? Absolutely, folks. Well, as I come to a close, I would like to again thank all of our guests, first-time folks that are here. I would like to thank again all of our officials. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much to the Chamber, the staff, the volunteers, and please make sure that you meet your elected officials. They're here. Talk with them. Talk to the board members. Please take a photo at our step and repeat. Folks, my name is Richard Marks, encouraging you to expect great things to happen. Have a good evening. Thank you.